spend time with the family and tell stories and have a wonderful time. How many people here love to hear stories about when mom or grandma or dad or somebody got in trouble? Who likes to hear stories about when they got in trouble? Who likes to hear stories about when grandma or grandpa got in trouble?
Me!
Oh my goodness, they love these stories. And they learn a lot of things when they listen to these stories. They learn it's okay to make mistakes. Isn't it okay to make mistakes?
Yeah.
You just don't give up and try again, right?
Yeah.
That's right. So how many people love to read to little brothers or sisters? I hope you read to your little brothers and sisters. And I hope your little brothers and sisters and moms and dads, I hope your children get to see you reading for fun too. Because it really is cool. It's so much fun to read. And if they see you reading the newspaper or magazine or anything, they get to learn that reading is really fun. So let's let everybody see us reading more and writing more. How many people like to write letters?
Me!
I love to. How many people love to get letters in the mail? Oh my goodness. Moms, you don't like to get letters in the mail?
No.
I love to get love letters.
Yeah.
I get love letters. I do. Adam, would you write me a love letter?
Yeah.
Mr. Adam, he's a wonderful guy. Wait. I got a love letter from my boyfriend. Look, and he gave me his picture. It says, Salty Sue, I love you. You want to see my boyfriend?
Yeah.
Here he is. Moms, eat your hearts out. Captain Jack Sparrow is my boyfriend. He's going to marry me when I grow up. I'm not hooked up yet. I'm not. Peter Pan said he was never going to grow up, and I'm never going to grow up either. I'm going to be just like Peter Pan. How many people like the stories about Peter Pan? Who was the pirate in the Peter Pan stories? Okay. What's the name of the fairy in Peter Pan stories? Tinkerbell. What's the name of the girl in the Peter Pan stories who loves to read books? Wendy, that's right. You're so smart. Hey, Adam, Mr. Adam, do you know what time the 2 o'clock show starts? Do you have any idea when the 2 o'clock show starts? What?
Right now.
Shall we start the show?
Yeah!
Is everybody here?
Yeah!
If you're here, will you please raise your hands? Goodness gracious. It's time for the Salty Sue, the Pirate Show. Now, my name is Salty Sue, the Pirate. Thank you. My name is Salty Sue. I love to collect things. Who likes to collect things?
Me!
Wait. Who likes to collect seashells? You might grow up to be a marine biologist and save the oceans. How many people here like to collect rocks? You might grow up to be a geologist and save the planet Earth. Geologists and marine biologists, they get to travel all over the world and do exciting things. How many people here like to collect treasure? You might grow up to be a philanthropist and give all your money away to libraries and churches and synagogues and stuff like that. And temples. Hey, you know what I like to collect? Swords.
Me!
Would you like to see my sword collection? I got this sword from pirates off the coast of Peru. Does anyone know where Peru is? Where is it? Is it in North America? Is it in Europe? Is it in Africa? It's in South America. That's right. It's right down here in South America. Just a minute. I get to travel all over the world too on my pirate ship. What's the name of this great big yellow country? Asia, that's right. Asia is a place where tigers roam, where China and Russia. What's this great big North America? Now we have 2 big countries in North America. One of them is Alaska is a state. What is one of the countries in North America? The greatest country in the world. The United States of America, that's right. one. Canada, that's right. You knew that without me even telling you that. What is this great, big, beautiful That's right. I got this sword from a pirate off the coast. From Timbuktu. And I got this sword from a pirate off the coast of China. What language do they speak in China? Does anybody know? Well, Chinese isn't exactly a language. They speak Mandarin and Cantonese. And who likes Chinese food? Who likes to eat Chinese food? The next time you visit your Chinese restaurant, ask them what language they speak. They might speak Mandarin, Cantonese, or another language. It's very interesting stuff. I got this sword. Oh, wow. Hey, wait a minute, my friends. I got this sword. This sword reminds me of a story. No. The story's too scary for you. You mean scary stories? Can I get everybody to put on your imagination caps? Can I get everybody to open your eyes real wide? Open your ears real wide. And close your mouth. Very good. Let's see if we can get this to work. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, a land where pencils come from. Does anybody know where pencils come from? Anybody know? Pencils come from Pennsylvania. In a place called Pennsylvania, there lived a little girl, and her name was Sarah. Now, your name is Sarah? This could be a story about you, Sarah, because guess what? Sarah's father was a carpenter, and he was a carpenter's build. He was a ship's right carpenter, and he used to build wooden boats. And one day, Sarah's dad came home with the coolest present in the whole world. It was a great big wooden boat. It was no longer worthy of the sea. And he and a couple of his big, strong friends dragged the boat deep into the woods near Sarah's house. And they hoisted it up high into the trees, and they turned the boat into a magical boat swing. And they rigged it so cleverly with lines and pulleys that when you pulled on the ropes, the big old boat would swing. You swing with me, everybody? Back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. And every day after school, Sarah would climb up the rope ladder high up into the trees, and she would get into the boat swing, and she would go on the greatest adventures. One day, Sarah was sailing along in her boat swing, and she felt like she was a solitary sailor sailing on an emerald sea. She could look up across the tops of the treetops. She was high up in the tree, and she would swing back and forth, and back and forth, and all of a sudden, Sarah heard a strange noise. Splash! She looked up, and there was a lady standing in the boat with her, a beautiful lady, but half of the lady's body was a fish's body. What do you call a mermaid? It was a beautiful mermaid, and the mermaid was standing in the boat, in Sarah's boat swing, and she said, "Sarah, I have something for you." Sarah said, "Who are you, and how do you know my name?" And the mermaid said, "My name is Serena. I'm the siren of the seven seas, and I protect all the sailors that sail upon the sea. And I have 3 things for you." The mermaid reached into a golden bag, and she pulled out a map. It was a tattered old map, and it was a treasure map. And she said, "Sarah, you see this map? This map tells you where the greatest treasure in the world is. Whatever you do, don't lose this map." Sarah looked at the map, and there was a special symbol on the map that tells you exactly where the treasure is on a treasure map. What is that symbol? X. X marks the spot on a treasure map. And that's how you tell exactly where the treasure is, by the X. She said, "Whatever you do, Sarah, don't lose this map." Sarah put the map inside her belt, and then the woman reached into the golden bag again, and she pulled out a set of keys. She said, these are called skeleton keys. And one of opens up a treasure chest that holds the greatest treasure in the world. Whatever you do, don't lose these keys. Sarah looked at the strange keys and put them inside her belt. Murray said, I have one more thing for you, Sarah. It's this! This sword. This is a magic sword. And it used to belong to a king. And the king's name was Arthur. And when King Arthur was just a little boy your age, he pulled the sword out of the stone. And he gave the sword a name. He gave the sword a name. What is the name of King Arthur's sword? Who knows? Excalibur is right. Who said that? You. She loves the stories of the Knights of the Round Table. She knows about Camelot. And she knows about Guinevere and King Arthur. And what was the name of the wizard? Merlin the Wizard. There's a beautiful lady who loves her books about King Arthur. Well, anyway, she said, this is the magic sword. And everywhere you go with this sword, you create peace. This is not a war sword. This is a peace sword. And you make friends everywhere you go with this magic sword. She said, whatever you do, don't lose this sword. You can never be defeated with it, but you'll never hurt anybody. Sarah put her sword back in her belt, and then she turned away for just a second, and splash! The mermaid disappeared. Sarah was adrift in her boat for quite a while, thinking about all these things. And all of a sudden, she looked up across the Emerald Sea, and she saw the island that was on the map. Sarah grabbed her oars, and she started to row. Can you row with me, everybody? Row, row, row your boat gently downstream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And she got all the way across the Emerald Sea. She was looking. All of a sudden, she looked inside the island. There was a river running into the island, and there was a cave, a dark, scary cave. Sarah rowed her boat to the dark, scary cave. Way in the back of the cave, in the cavern, there was something square laying on the side of the beach. She tied her boat up to some rocks, and she walked over to the beach. And all of a sudden, a tiny shaft of sunlight came in through the top of the ceiling of the cavern, and it was illuminating a gigantic treasure chest. The biggest treasure chest you ever saw was huge. Sarah looked at the treasure chest. She couldn't believe it. It had a big lock on it. She grabbed the keys. She grabbed the keys. She could try to get her keys off the belt, and they wouldn't get off the belt. Oh my goodness. She tried the first key in the lock. It didn't fit. She tried the second key. It didn't fit. She tried the third skeleton key. It didn't fit. Then Sarah tried the big crooked gold key. The lock opened. Sarah took off the lock and opened the treasure chest. A whole bunch of snakes slithered out of the box. She looked inside the treasure chest, and it was full of the greatest treasure in the world. Can anybody guess what it was? Oh, very good guess, but it was better than gold. Money. Very good guess, but it was better than gold. Diamonds. Better than gold. What did you say, Sarah? Sarah, the Sarah in the story, knows that the greatest treasure in the world lies in libraries, in books. And because Sarah knows, like Sarah in the story, the greatest wisdom you can find is inside books. Well, Sarah was looking through all the books inside the treasure chest, and all of a sudden, she heard a terrible noise. She looked up, and there were five of the ugliest, the meanest, the nastiest pirates you ever saw. One of them had a big scar running across his face. One of them had a patch over his eye. One of them was dragging a wooden leg. Ooh, they were hairy. They were scary. They were carrying pistols and cutlasses and hatchets. And do you think Sarah was afraid? No. Why not? She had the magic sword of King Arthur. She pulled out the sword, and she gently waved it over the pirates' heads. And they dropped their weapons and jumped in the water in the cave with big cannonballs. Woohoo! They said. Sarah looked at the beautiful sword. It worked. It made friends with everybody. The pirates came sputtering up out of the water, and they said, "Oh, Miss Sarah, we're sorry. We didn't mean to scare you." She said, "I wasn't scared. Take this treasure chest and put it inside the boat." The pirates did as they were told. They carried the heavy treasure chest. They laid it inside Sarah's boat, and they cast off her lines as she flew out of the cave. Can you row with me? Out of the cave. Row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.